Just stopped to adjust my tire pressure. I just saw over here that I can actually check it on the fly right here, which is really nice. Oh, I just passed it. That's the one annoying thing. If I pass it, I have to go through the whole menu setting again. So we got 30.4 in the front and 32 in the rear. So 30, 32. Yeah, 32 in the rear, 30 in the front. I don't know why sometimes. I'm slightly dyslexic, I swear. Just diagnosed myself. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back on the M1000R, but this time better than ever. This time it is unlocked and I could not wait. We're taking it tomorrow to get it tuned, but I honestly could not wait to ride this bike. Oh yeah, baby, we got the Race Pro settings and everything. So this is already just making sure that my key is over here. We don't want to lose the key for this bike. But now we have the full 14.5 RPM range, not the 9,000 stuff. So this is a proper first drive on this bike. See how it is. Adjust the tire pressure and everything. Obviously it's not tuned yet. As I said, tomorrow is going to be tuning. We got some exciting footage for you guys. We're actually going to be racing my stock one against Troy from Brent Tuning. Has another single R that they just got, and he's gonna have it tuned by tomorrow. So we're gonna do stock versus his tuned one and see how they compare, and then tune this one after. And I already know, like with BMWs, that they completely transform the bikes once they're tuned. They come very restricted and stuff like that, but this is my first time on this bike, so we'll see how it is. I adjusted the engine braking on this bike. I think I put it too low because I was downshifting and the bike was just like completely rolling. So maybe we'll increase it up a little bit. I don't think I have time. Actually, I might. Let's try. Oh, I'm choking. Engine braking. Up. One. Go back. Oh, got it just in time. There you go. That feels a lot more natural. I feel like back then it was unnatural. It was like rolling a bit too much. I don't like it to be high, like too much engine braking, but just a little bit, so that's it smoothly slow down just like now. Yeah, I think they have an extra throttle setting too, a few extra settings in the menu. One cool thing I mentioned I think before is that for the electronic suspension that comes on this bike, so this is going to be interesting because this bike has technically the M1000R engine that I have, but slightly detuned, you know, to 210 horsepower instead of 212. Pretty much about the same thing. Obviously it's a naked bike, so slightly different gearing, but also it has electronic suspension. So my R full race bike is what pretty much it's made for. So that one does not have the electronic suspension. I was trying to test out the little stoppy thing a little bit. Doing a stoppy from like a dead stop is really sketchy. I mean, when you're rolling, it's even more sketchy because it's scary because you're rolling. But also from a dead stop, there's like no momentum or anything to save it. So if I do a little too high, I'm just gonna loop the bike, which is not a good day. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, electronic suspension. This one has an option where, you know, you can adjust your electronic suspension and all that, but there's also an option that I've never seen before where it says like if you're a solo rider or if you have a passenger. I think that's really cool. I wonder how much it'll, you know, change the setup, maybe stiffen it up a little bit, so, you know, like the bike doesn't squat as much and all. But that's a really cool option, and I mean, it always blows my mind. The technology in these BMW bikes is just insane, like literally uncomparable. But yeah, I'm actually, now I feel like I'm more excited to ride this bike than before, because before I knew it was locked, you know what I mean, like I couldn't like really ride it. It was like handicapped, but now it's like the real thing. So I'm very excited for it. Let's see how this bike is going to perform. Later on, we're also going to be, same day after this ride, I'm going to be going back, taking the CBR to get something adjusted. I can't be too excited, you know, you got to always respect these bikes. That's my issue. Sometimes I get too excited and I send it a little too hard. We don't want to do that. The bike still has like under 500 miles, you know, it's still a brand new bike. And as I said, this is the bike that I'm going to be renting out at Superbike Rentals on Instagram. So check it out if you haven't already. Oh my god, I cannot believe that this bike is not tuned. What? Bro, like I was barely getting on it. This is insane. honestly, I don't know if it's a different gearing. It has to be just like the different gearing, or you know, I don't know if that it's the tune, whatever it is. This bike definitely feels a bit faster. Like, yeah, this bike just goes. I do feel the flat spot, you know, the tune will fix that. That's the whole point. BMW's known, you know, it has a lot of torque, then it kind of dies down somewhere in the mid-range, like flat spot, and then it starts picking up top again. So tune is going to fix all that. I think we should be doing the stage 3 as well, which is, you know, velocity stacks, relocating the IT sensor, a bunch of stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting as well. I wish there was less traffic, so, you know, I can ride this bike a little bit harder, but we'll keep it safe. Yeah, the tire pressure feels a lot better. It doesn't just feel as slippery. Like sometimes when the road is like this, not asphalt, like on the far right lane, it feels a little bit slippery when you're going higher speeds and you hit a bump and something like that. Just because, you know, this kind of like, I think it's concrete. It's not as grippy. So, yeah, definitely sometimes I don't feel best. And lowering the tire pressure definitely helps you with that kind of like more stable, sticky feel. Like usually on the track you're running really low tire, like I'm at around 20, or depending on your setup obviously, but yeah, close to like 20, 25, you know. But usually for street riding I like doing like, you know, low 30s. I think that's a good range to be at. This bike is so smooth. I was riding the Super Duke yesterday, and yeah, that bike is pretty smooth and really well made as well, but when it comes to these BMWs, it's just unbeatable. And that's one of the reasons a lot of you guys were like, why don't you rent out the Rush instead? Look, the Rush is more expensive than this by $10,000 to $15,000. It is way harder to find parts and way more rare. It has more expensive parts on it as well, way more carbon and stuff like that. And also, it's not as enjoyable to ride, you know what I mean? It's just mainly a pretty bike. Okay, hold on a sec. We just did like, what, 3 gears up in the air? Little baby wheelie, but still, you know, first little wheelie on this bike. Man, it feels good to go past that little restriction and hear the bike scream a little bit. It definitely is a lot more wobbly than my R, you know, but also to be expected given it's a naked bike. The handlebars are really high up. You know, I think on the Rush, they're actually clip-ons. They're not like a full-on straight handlebar like this one. So that probably helps out a lot. Woo! Pretty wobbly, not gonna lie. Oh, I was in 5th gear. I thought I was in a lower gear for whatever reason. Yeah, see, like with the Rush, definitely the bike feels a lot more stable than this one. We're gonna up the traction control just a little bit because I want to kind of get a safer feel for this bike. So in case we slip or anything, you get electronics to save you. Honestly, like, yeah, this is like plenty of bike, given it's still like untuned, unrestricted. Oh boy, what a fun bike. This is like really fast. I'm honestly like really shocked by how fast this bike is. I definitely didn't expect any of this. I thought it's gonna be way slower, way more, you know, tame, especially because it's not tuned yet. So the fact that it goes like that before getting tuned, that's kind of crazy to me. But yeah, definitely a little too wobbly for my liking. Like you can see, as soon as I start moving the handlebars, the whole thing starts to shake a lot more. Very kind of like touchy and sensitive. And I'm pretty sure the stabilizer that it has on it, whoa, good thing I saw this last minute. I was looking down. That's why you should always look in front of you, okay? Don't do what I do. And I was trying to find the stabilizer on this thing and almost went through all that wood, or went over. Yeah, I don't know where that stabilizer is. It should be somewhere down there though. I wonder if it's electronic or similar to my M1000R, where I can just stiffen it up. If I stiffen it up, it'll definitely make it less wobbly and stuff like that. So maybe we'll try that once we stop and go to the next spot or whatever we do next. Yeah, see, like I already knew this was gonna happen because of the bump over there. The whole bike started to get pretty shaky. Also, I am in the Race Pro 1 settings, which are my custom settings. So I wonder if the regular race settings with the automatic or like preset suspension setup is going to be a little bit better, not as wobbly. I just kept my suspension setup all like in the middle, pretty much what it was at in the Race Pro. But usually the Race Pro is like when you customize everything. So yeah, before that, like I could only go up to 120, which at these speeds it was very stable, but now that you're getting to like 150, it definitely feels a lot more wobbly than I expected. Pretty similar to the Super Duke, but the Rush, that's the nice thing about it. That bike is very, very stable, way more stable than you'd expect. This bike does not want to stay down. The brakes feel really good on this bike. I don't think they changed them at all, but like I feel like they feel more solid. Oh man, this bike is a lot. This bike is way, like, it's fast. I'd be excited to put this bike against like the Rush and the Super Duke. I think this should destroy the Super Duke. Honestly, it might destroy the Rush too, because I think it has a lot more in the low end, while the Rush I feel like is more top end. You know, the Rush felt pretty good and stable top end, but this bike, like low end, as you guys can see, it just wants to come up like crazy. This bike is a little more sketchy to do stoppies on than the 23S M1000R. It's a little bit more rare and expensive. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is that at the end of the day, this bike is very similar to my M1000R. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's slightly different because it's a naked bike, but it is still rides about the same, you know, and stuff like that. So I definitely like think having the Rush or the Super Duke is more unique to have on the channel, and I can still, like, this is still my bike, even though I'm gonna put it for rent. Yeah, some people might abuse it and stuff like that. I'll try to make sure as much as I can that, you know, people don't do that, but at the end of the day, you know, I do want people to enjoy this bike and try it out, because it is honestly a blast, and I can't imagine, like, after the tune how good this bike is gonna be. So yeah, I'm still gonna be riding it, still gonna be making a lot of content with it, showing it around. I probably won't do like a build as crazy of a build like some of my other bikes on it, simply because I don't know, like I just don't want to like spend a lot of money on it and then have it available for rent, and then, you know, somebody like messes it up or something. So I definitely don't want to be doing that. At least, you know, I'm taking enough risk by renting it out as is. So investing in parts, I will put like some kind of like protection parts for it for sure. Maybe even, wow, that was embarrassing. I just stalled the bike. Not any bike too, the BMW, which should be the easiest. But yeah, I just don't want to be investing that much money on parts for it, and, you know, it'll just be like even a bigger risk. I think you guys are really gonna enjoy this. It feels less intimidating than the RRs, the Super Sports. So I think that's gonna make it like a very good option for you guys to, you know, enjoy a ride. It feels you're more in control of it higher up and stuff like that. So, you know, I think it'll be a good rental, and we'll see, like maybe in the future I take it out from there, you know, we'll see. I'm still like very unsure about it, but that's kind of the point for it, you know, is I got it for that main purpose, because as I said, for me personally, I would have rather gotten the new RR, S1000RR, if I wanted to. But again, that's too similar to my M1000RR from the previous year, so that's why, you know, you gotta kind of like justify it. But with the Super Duke, it's it's KTM, you know, very different riding style. The whole bike is very different, you know, as well as same thing with a lot of my bikes. I like more variety, you know. Yeah, this bike is cool and would look good in the collection and would be really sick to do a lot of carbon on it. Like, you know, I can do the wings in carbon, I can do all these plastics, a lot of stuff for it, but at the end of the day, it does ride very similar. So when I ride it, yeah, I'll have fun a little bit on it, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's going to be too similar to mine, and I'm not going to be as excited. Like, I'm definitely more excited to ride the Super Duke just because it's so different, you know. I haven't had a bike or put a lot of miles on a bike that rides that way. Even though I totally agree that this one rides better, but still, from a fun aspect, I think the Super Duke is better for me and is more fun and engaging. That being said, this bike is amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please drop a like and subscribe. if you did enjoy it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and ride safe. Huh. So, found the stabilizer. This is, I'm assuming, the softest setting. So, now we put it on the stiffest setting. It might be too stiff, but I just wanted to show you guys that. Oh yeah, this is way too stiff. Okay, this feels good. A little stiff. Actually, a little too stiff still. There you go. This should be good enough. So yeah, you can actually adjust it right there.